Yes, sir. So first of all, I would like to introduce sir. So Dr.Jiten Mishra, he's a lifetime member of Baha'i Community of India. He's a qualified lawyer, a teacher, researcher, and a motivator. So Dr. Mishra is also the managing trustee of Nightingale Foundation, and currently he works as a senior manager for European government organization based at New Delhi. So we are really thankful to you for accepting the invitation to be part of this interview. So sir, shall we begin?
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So coming to the first question that we would like to ask, I would like to ask is that, uh, what according to you does the word religion mean, and how like is it connected to the idea of peace?
First of all, at the very outset, from the core of my heart, I would like to thank the GPF and to you and to dear Yash for providing me the opportunity to share my thoughts. Um, and I'm very thankful for your kind introduction as well. So, before I answer your question, let me first clarify that I'm not a scholar on these issues that you're asking me. And I will only share my views in a personal capacity as a Baha'i from my very limited understanding uh, that I have collected over the years by intensive studies. Uh, Before I proceed, let me tell you that Baha'is, the meaning of Baha'is is that they are the followers of the light. They are the followers of glory. And the founder of the Baha'i faith is Baha'u'llah, who is the English translation of which is glory of God. And the Baha'is are his followers, and they are called as the followers of light, and they are known as the Baha'is. Now, with regard to your question, the meaning of religion, the word actually came from Latin. It originated from Latin, and it has got several meanings. Respect for the sacred, moral obligations before the Almighty. There are so many reasons, and the dictionary meaning also says that a particular system of belief. But then we are not going to discuss all that. I will only share my views, what I understand from the word religion. For me, the religion carries the meaning that revelation of the knowledge of God or the guidance of God as our way of life. To me, this simple means knowledge of God. Release of the knowledge of God does not come in one go. It comes in installments through different saints or prophets of God or the messengers of God, whatever you may call them. If we go through the holy books like Bhagavad Gita, Bible, or Quran, and other scriptures, you will find there are enough writings and promises made by various messengers of God in the past, mentioning that there will be a good time for the humanity, and He will come again and again to guide and protect His people, and people have to accept and obey His commandments. So this is a kind of an agreement between God and man, which we call as eternal covenant or eternal agreement, that God will never leave His people, His children alone without guidance, and the people will accept His messenger that arrive from time to time. God has been very loyal. He has never left His people alone, and from time to time we receive His messengers, but unfortunately the humanity has been disloyal to the commitments made. In Bhagavad Gita, we see the sloka, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharatam. You all are familiar with this sloka. The Lord Krishna promises that He is going to appear again and again. He is going to destroy the religiousness and establish peace and tranquility in the world and protect the righteous. In the Old Testament, it is the same. You obey my voice, you keep my word, you keep my covenant, I shall treasure you. In the New Testament, it is the same. I will establish a new covenant. I will appear in the glory of my Father. In the Baha'i writings, we say that the pulsating power in the arteries of the body of the world is the spirit of the covenant. The spirit which is the cause of life of all the contingent beings in the existence. So what is the spirit? This spirit appears again and again to humanity, as I was mentioning, in different names. In the name of Krishna, Buddha, Zoroaster, Muhammad, Christ, and today it is Bab and Baha'u'llah, whom the Baha'is believe that they are the prophets of God for this age. They are actually the mirrors of the Creator, and they reflect his attributes, and they come again and again, as I mentioned, to guide humanity. So each of these divine messengers, they come with a predefined mandate from the Creator, and each of them bear a revelation, which we call in general language as religion, with a very specific mandate, which is pre-decided by the Almighty. These revelations are progressive in nature; they are continuous in nature. The knowledge they carry is not absolute. We believe that the knowledge they carry has got two aspects. One is the spiritual knowledge, which never changes, like love, unity, harmony, cooperation. They never change. They remain the same. They're eternal in nature. But the social principles they carry, it changes as per the requirement of the time, and the requirement of the people, their capacity. We Baha'is, we believe that religion of God is always one. It was changeless in the past, and it will remain changeless in the future. Therefore, we believe in the basic tenet of oneness of God and oneness of religions. Now, as regards your question, whether religion is connected to peace, my answer is very simple. The religion is the source of all the good virtues, of morality, of ethics. Of course, it is connected to peace and well-being of the people. We can ask, why then there is so much strife around us? Why then there is so much, conflict that we see around us? The answer to this is that we do not follow the true religion. We do not follow the essence of the religion. We do not follow the spirit that the messenger of God brings from time to time. We have rejected the essence. We have rejected the spirit of religion. That is why we see the chaos in the society. What we do, we adhere to the imitations, the erroneous interpretations of the holy writings, and that causes discrimination, that causes chaos in the society. You see, we very strongly believe that religion can never be divisive. Religion can never cause blind beliefs or superstitions in the society. That is only created by the human interpretations and human understanding. So to answer your question, yes, religion does has connection, very direct connection with peace and all the good things that comes about through ethics and morality. So there is a dire need for education, for better understanding of the concepts. Humanity, it is high time, has to shun its waywardness and correct its course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I think through this question you have answered another question of mine, which I was about to ask you next, that whether religion can be a tool for creating harmony in the society, or does it divide the society more? So what are your thoughts about it?
I couldn't hear your question.
Sir, religion, does it create harmony among the people, or as a tool of creating harmony among the people, or does it divide the society more?
I strongly believe as a Baha'i that no efforts to correct the human affairs can ignore religion. So let me paraphrase from the writings of Baha'u'llah. Religion, he says, is the chief instrument of establishment of order in the world and tranquility among the people. The greater the decline of religion, he says, the more grievous and waywardness of the ungodly. He continues that religion is the radiant light and impregnable stronghold for the protection and welfare of the people, because fear of God impels man to hold fast to that which is good and shun all evil. Should the light of religion be obscured, the chaos and confusion will come up, and light of fairness, justice, tranquility, and peace will cease to shine. So these are his words. I just paraphrased it. However, the usual question I was just talking about a short while ago always comes: if religion is source of such goodness, why is it all these chaos are happening and people are not listening? When we talk about religion, they say we are not interested in religion. You talk about any other things, but we are not interested to hear about it. While emphasizing the goodness of religion, Baha'u'llah gave a very stark warning. He says that the religious fanaticism and hatred are a world-devouring fire, whose, whose violence no one can quench. These are his words again, and the Baha'i community has itself has suffered a lot because of religious prejudice in Iran, where the Baha'i faith was born. The Baha'i community suffered for almost 2 centuries because of religious prejudice, and thousands of his followers were persecuted and killed because of religious prejudice. So you can understand the human interpretation and prejudice, how strong it has become and how formidable it has become to cause chaos and conflict in the society. That is the reason, that is precisely the reason the Baha'is are busy assisting and educating the disillusioned humanity, and they are kind of adrift. They're kind of so out of touch with the reality, to educate them, to help them with understanding the concept of religion. And we have all these educational initiatives in small areas in both rural and urban settings, and tell them that it is high time that you have to understand that we belong to one family, and the only way forward is to accept that we are all one, and this will help us avert the impending disasters. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the words were so beautiful that you said. So, sir, talking about religious conflict, as you mentioned. So, what do you think in such situation, religion should be invoked to resolve the issue, or it should be completely divorced from the situation in any form of religious conflict?
Actually, we should understand, that to resolve any conflict, to reorganize and administer our society with fairness, the fundamental prerequisite, as I was just mentioning, is to accept that we are children of one God. This is the crux of all the issues that happens. Whether you talk about vaccines, whether you talk about trade, whether you talk about any issues about economics, the crux of the issue is that we do not believe that we are all one. We are different from each other. Some people belong to higher class, some people belong to low class. Discrimination has become so rampant in the society, it has caused so much havoc. So world order can be only founded on an unshakable consciousness of the oneness of humankind, a truth which is confirmed by human sciences. Whether you talk about anthropology, you talk about physiology, psychology, they only recognize one human species. So religion gives a prescription, a remedy, which is not invented by someone. It is the truth that we have to accept, that it has come for our guidance, for our betterment, whether we accept it or not. So the only choice before us is to educate the people. Ignorance causes most of the issues in the society. Wrong concepts, distortion of concepts causes most of the issues in the society. So I honestly believe that this oneness, the principle of oneness, has to be taught in the schools, constantly asserted to prepare for the organic change in the mindset of the people. And eventually we will see its effect in the structure of the society and in different institutions. So once that consciousness comes within us, it will slowly permeate to the structural level, and we will see there will be changes in the governance, there will be changes in the laws, and there will be changes in several things that is affecting, the in the political level, in the economics level, whatever you call, all those things will slowly fall in line because of the unifying consciousness, because of the positive consciousness that comes within us. This is the real solution. Since change of heart and educational effect takes time, it is organic by nature, it is the law of God that things change slowly. We can see the law of nature to understand that. So any urgent conversation, to immediately stop the destruction, stop the loss of human life, should be highly encouraged and should be pursued vigorously. This intervention, of course, must be followed by education, consultation, and other long-term measures for lasting resolution. Thank you.
So as we talked about the oneness, so the vision of our organized of Global Peace Foundation is also based on one family under God. So we would like to know your views on that. Is it like similar, how like in the manner of contemporary period, the way religion is seen in contemporary period?
So if I understand your question, you are talking about the activity of GPF, right?
Yes, sir, which is based on I'm talking about the vision, which is one family under God. So like, I would like to know your point of view on this theme.
My words are certainly powerless. It's not enough to appreciate befittingly your initiatives in this direction. As I said before, one of the fundamental tenets of the Baha'i faith is oneness of humanity. So I cannot appreciate enough the vision of GPF. However, having a noble vision is just the first step. The question is, how do we build the process of reconciliation? How do we trade a path that serves our noble vision and to translate our vision to reality? My understanding is that, as I said before, it is one thing to tolerate and appreciate each other, and at the same time, be stubborn and say that what I believe is only true. You haven't accepted the views of the others, you haven't accepted, you have simply tolerated them, and you have done a lip service by saying that I appreciate your view. But it has not come from within that you have wholeheartedly accepted the person who is talking, his views, his way of thinking, and his ideas. So it is another thing to work with open mindset, accept our ignorance and mistakes, appreciate the truth, which is always one, that is of human existence, and reach to a unifying vision to work together for our common future. So my suggestion is that the GPF should appeal to the leaders of religion that it interviews, that it works with, to go beyond the traditional way of thinking, to go beyond their comfort zone, and to create a unifying vision in order to be able to work together for a common future for all of us, for the future generation, and for our children.
Thank you, sir. So coming to the idea of religion again, as in the first answer, you talked about the idea of spirituality. So there's another term which is always connected with religion, that is faith. So I would like to know, according to you, the difference between faith and religion.
Well, my understanding is that actually most of the people, they use both the terms interchangeably. They understand it as very similar. However, some people might agree or argue that faith primarily stems from one's value system from within, one's tradition, one's background, whether he believes in a particular religion or not. Say, for example, the case of the atheists who do not believe in God and religions. However, to my mind, the implication of faith and religion are not mutually exclusive. And they should not be so. When I say religion, I mean its true essence, true teachings of God. I do not mean the human interpretations. I do not mean the outward rituals, and I do not mean the distorted notions of the so-called divines in the society. What I mean to say that the essence of the religion of God and the faith of a human being has to be one and the same. The entire value system of a person actually stems from religion, and his faith is shaped by his religion. This is what is my very strong belief. As a Baha'i, the Baha'i writings, let me paraphrase again from the writings of Baha'u'llah, he says that the faith is actually conscious knowledge and practice of good deeds. And the essence of any religion says the same. If any way of life contradicts this, that is not religion. It is better to be without religion. That is superstitions, they are man-made erroneous notions. So it is clear that one's faith has to be shaped on the basis of teachings of the religion of God, and religion cannot be based on one's faith. But human beings have free will. They may prefer not to profess a particular belief system, a particular religion. That's fine, that's understandable. But their faith and religion has to be same under all conditions. When I say religion, I mean their way of life. What is religion actually? For a common man, for a layman, it is a way of life which is prescribed by the messenger of the day. You may not accept the messenger of the day, but if you are ethical enough, if you believe in morality, your way of life and your faith has to be same. You cannot be having double standards in your life, So that is what is required for your own growth, and also if you want to contribute positively towards the society.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, there's another term which is ethics that is usually related to religion. So, do you think ethics can be taught separately, kept separately from the religion, or does it share the same platform?
Well, what we observe today around us is that a lot of organizations, they're undertaking initiatives, with many other like-minded entities and individuals for interfaith amity, for service projects, and social cohesive, all the kinds of social cohesive programs. This is indeed a very good sign and admirable that people are eager for change, people are pragmatic, and willing to make efforts for a better collective future. However, these efforts, although they're admirable, they are not sufficient. I would say, in my words, they're too cosmetic by nature to solve the problems of the society. They're symbolic, they're cosmetic. Let me give one example to you to understand better. It is something like you're accepting the portrait and you don't accept the photographer or the painter. It is something like you play the beautiful flute, you love the music, but you don't like the artisan and you don't recognize the artisan who has made the flute. It doesn't make sense. The real spirit, the real motivation actually comes from the divine source. And if you don't recognize the source, the efforts will be too superficial, So the transformation of the human soul can only come through the words of God, to divine intervention, because we are, in reality, human beings, they are not bodies, they are not physical bodies, they are spirit by nature. You see, the human bodies can perish, but the spirit never perishes, it always stays. So in reality, we are the spirits, we are the spiritual beings, we are not physical bodies. So all human intervention, though they're admirable, though we should go ahead with that, but they are minimum. They're good for immediate ceasefire. They're good for stopping a kind of immediate devastation, but they have minimal effect and they are not durable. It is similar to that. If I talk about if you ban the nuclear weapons, or prohibit the use of the poisonous gases. That will not solve the main reasons of the warfare. It may cause a temporary ceasefire, but it will not solve the root causes of war. So what is required then? These practical measures may be helpful, but they don't have enduring influence. So people will be clever enough to find out other ways to prove their supremacy. So there will be always other alternatives they will find out to fight. So what is the resolution? The resolution is that, as I said before, we have to raise to that consciousness that we are all one. And any norm, any knowledge, any theory, any tradition that promotes division, exclusivity in the society has to be rejected outright. Similarly, all resources that God has given us, it belongs to all of humanity. It does not belong to any particular population. But how to reach to that consciousness? How to reach that level of maturity? How to reach that transcendent level? How to reach there? As I mentioned to you earlier, it requires selflessness, it requires inner motivation, and it requires absolute obedience to the teachings of God. And teachings of God are never divisive, are always unifying, are always soothing. So my understanding is that the ethics, all ethics, they come from the divine teachings, and therefore adhering to the ethics and teachings without recognizing the source are absolutely superficial, and they will have minimal effect. Then it will not solve the crux issues of the society.
So, sir, coming to the idea of prayers, I would like to know that what is prayer according to you?
Thank you for asking this beautiful question. It's a pet subject. I always talk about this subject in my classes, in my discourses. For me as a Baha'i, as a follower of Baha'u'llah, prayer is kind of loving conversation with your Creator. Because He has created you in His own image. He has created you just like Him. So it's a way to thank Him, to say, thank you, God. You have created me like a human being. You have given me the power of intellect. You have given me rationality to segregate truth from error. You have given me free will. So this is a conversation we do lovingly to thank Him. It is the law of God that the weak always leans against the strong. So we, as human beings, are weak, and we have to lean against our Creator, who is the power of strength and who is the source of strength and power. So let me paraphrase a few lines from the writings of Baha'u'llah, from the Baha'i writings, where he says, there is nothing sweeter in the world of existence than prayer. There is nothing sweeter in the world of existence than prayer. Man must live in a state of prayer all the time. Man must live in a state of prayer all the time. The greatest attainment or the sweetest state is none other than conversation with your Creator. It is a token of our love and gratitude to Him. Recitation of prayer creates spirituality, mindfulness, and celestial feelings. So the question is, how do we stay in prayerful state all the time? I can give a small example to understand. It's like the cotton soaked in the water. Wherever you use the cotton, you feel that coolness of water. You feel that soothing sensation, which is the property of the water and which is the function of the water. Similarly, through the effect of the prayer, the noble attributes, the transformation of souls, they can be effected within us. Because the words of God is the only source which can cause change in the human beings and bring about the betterment of the society. The Baha'i writings say that in the highest prayer, men pray only for the love of God, not because they fear Him, not because they fear Him or hell, not because they expect heaven, or they expect some reward. We must pray because we love our Creator, to thank Him that He has created us, as I said, in His own image. And as human beings, uh, we are different from other kingdoms, animals, plants, and minerals. And we must recite the words of God every day with joy, detachment, and pure heart, so that He opens the doors of knowledge in front of us. We must transcend beyond sounds and syllables of the words, and feel the spirit, the inner meanings of the words of God, which enhances our understanding and makes us mature human beings that will regulate our life to live with prudence, to live with wisdom. We will be able to focus on our spiritual growth, and as well as be able to contribute to the society and to the well-being of other human beings.
Thank you, sir. It's like the word, it's beyond, I don't know what to say exactly. It was so beautiful how you described the prayer itself. So coming to the idea of prayer, like we all know that Baha'i society in the Lotus Temple, supposedly, like it's open for all. It's on the peaceful prayer that anyone can attend. Like it makes you feel peace from outside, and makes you feel peace from inner also, inside also. So, sir, coming to the phrases and words used in prayers of Baha'i community, like a Baha'i religion in daily basis, is there any specific word or phrases which promote such peace values or harmony or any such ideas through it?
As I mentioned, the Baha'i writings prescribe that one must pray every day, at least twice, every morning and evening. We must remember, as I was telling you earlier, that reality of the human beings is not his body, is the spirit, his soul. Baha'u'llah says, I paraphrase his words again, man is created out of water and he will go back to dust, and his spirit will return to the worlds of God. His spirit will return to the worlds of God, its place of birth, where it came from and where it belongs to. The Baha'i writings comprise of hundreds and hundreds of prayers revealed by Baha'u'llah. Thousands of tablets or pieces of writings he has revealed, which are not yet translated from his original language, Persian and Arabic. And slowly, gradually, they're getting translated into English by the Baha'i World Center in Haifa, Israel. And we refer them as the words of God. Baha'u'llah says that, I paraphrase his words again, he says the words of God are the king of words, and its influence is incalculable. It has always dominated, and it will always dominate the realm of being. The words of God is the master key for the whole world, and it has the capacity to open the heart of man, which in reality is the door of